Good evening. What you got?
Doug, tonight you guys didn't lose any of the individual quarters. Came out with that intensity. It seems like you talk a lot about and kept that up most of the game or the whole game.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that tonight?
Really good. First of all, it was on a back-to-back, so credit to the guys. I told them before the game that you're gonna face adversity in life. Adversity doesn't miss you, but for them, their willingness to continue to compete and overcome that's what it says a lot about who you are in those moments. So great effort. Just love the compete level. You're gonna win some, whatever, but you play like that with your heart like that, you can look at yourself in the mirror. Yeah.
Doug, back-to-back performances from Malik that were pretty impressive. Just what have you seen from him in the past 2 games?
Just a level of, playing to our standard, everything about his focus. He's talented as hell, man. So defensive intensity, coverages, communicating with his teammates, everything about him has been top notch. So he deserves everything. He was a player of the game for us. But the 26 points, as I told him, fantastic. It was the 8 assists that was really impressive for me, actually, because he has the capabilities to do all those things. So another great performance for him.
Yeah, Doug. The shooting numbers tonight, just 17 and 26 from 30. How do you work to get that as part of your offense? Because, it's not enough threes still.
Yeah.
But to shoot that type of percentage is nice.
Well, most times you either touch the paint, you cause a double team. There's a way, pick and roll causes help. You spray the basketball, offensive rebound. We didn't do that as well tonight, only 6. But so, if we're getting downhill and we're making sure that we're touching the paint, collapsing, and we're spraying it out. That's usually it. Debo is the one guy that, they have to look for him and his ability to kick the ball out. And then, that one more pass on the backside. Sometimes we hit it, sometimes we miss it. But those are the special things that allow you to get not only looks, but good looks. And the better the look, the more, good chance that you have to shoot a better percentage. And I thought a lot of our shot quality was very high.
Doug, Luka walks into the fourth quarter with 40. LeBron walks in with 20. Both of them score 2 points each in that fourth quarter. Can you speak to what your guys were able to do defensively to slow them down enough to win this game?
The defensive intensity, the physicality. That's one of the big things that. Our defense is improving. We can see it, the shell defense, going over it in practice, talking about it, the communication. There were some breakdowns on some of the roles and, making sure that we are, in from the 2 side and guys are giving multiple efforts on the back end of that, because once you put 2 on the basketball or you create an advantage, it's a scramble situation then. There isn't a quote-unquote rotation. You just need to fly around and try to make sure that you're arriving on the catch, making them put the ball on the deck, or if it's someone who can't shoot as good, you're closing with a stick hand. That's really what I saw. Our level of physicality ramped up, and when we do that, we give ourselves a chance.
Doug, with Malik, you talked about playing to the standard and being pleased with that. Are there certain things that you've asked him to do to keep himself on the floor?
No, that's it. He's when he gets his opportunity, I think everyone's getting opportunities. So and when he went out, we went with Keon for a little bit. Then obviously Dennis was out, so now it was both of them. Malik was, just playing really well, so we went with him down the stretch. But his ability to, defensively, he's quick enough to move his feet, and just making sure he's really smart. So he sees what's happening. He knows what's happening. Now he just has to be fundamental in those moments. When he gets out on the break, fundamental. He gets his feet set. I always think it's going in. He has a really good chance at that. On the backside, I'd see him kind of like a defensive back. He reads that really well, playing two. All those little things in these, last few games that he's played, you can see the attention to detail and the focus, and the results are, who we know that he is. So it doesn't surprise me at all.
Coach, just speaking out to that depth that you have from Dennis, Keon, Malik, is that necessarily a good problem to have? When you have so many guys that can come in and contribute.
It's a fantastic problem. No one likes me, but it's a fantastic problem to have because, all of a sudden you have talent. You can go in different directions, and sometimes depending on what the game presents to you, you can coach to that. But it's a logjam. We've known that from the beginning, and we try to work through it. That's the best that we can do. The biggest thing is, regardless who it is, because one of our standards is professionalism. So be professional. Cheer your teammate on. It's his turn right now. Spotlight is on him. Let's shine and let's encourage and let's be excited for him. That time's going to come for you, and we expect the same out of him. So, it's a good problem to have, I would say. Yeah.
At times earlier in the year, you mentioned moments of your offense hurting your defense. How much did you feel, still, I guess, turning the ball over tonight, but how much did you feel like your offensive production helped your defense tonight?
Well, only 4 turnovers in the second half, so that was a big one. Closing quarters, shot selection, target basketball, things that sometimes we'll lack from time to time, and it's not like coming from a bad place. I think guys understood what we wanted to do down the stretch. We're making sure that we were getting to it. The spacing was correct, whether it was 4 smalls or 2 bigs. The spacing was there. Guys, played unselfish basketball, moved the basketball, and we made some shots. When you do that, it obviously is a good feeling. But it was solid.
Coach, team has been playing really well in the last 2 games and getting 2 wins in a row. What are the keys moving forward? Use that to build a positive momentum. How do you see that happening?
Well, more than anything, for us, it's simple. We play to the standard that we set, and we go out on the floor and play with our hearts. And when we do that, we give ourselves a opportunity to put ourselves in position to, first of all, compete. And then after you compete, you find yourself in a position to win. Listen, sometimes the ball is going to fall for you. Sometimes it's going to bounce your way. But the one thing that you can control is the level of compete that you come with. And all the little things we continue to work on, in the game situations, where we want the ball to go in crunch time, rotations on defense, all that stuff is we work on it. But it's the execution of all that stuff and the spirit and the joy that you play with. So you play to the right standard. Regardless if it's a win or loss, we can look at ourselves in the mirror and come and improve the next day. Appreciate y'all.